Welcome to Kids Express.
Join us as we see kids express their love for Jesus
while developing their character.
on Kids Express!
Welcome to 3ABN Kids Express. Today we're going to meet a young lady who has a heart for music, and many depend on her to help with song service at church. I'm Aunt Francine.
And I'm Angelica. Can you guess where in the world today's guests come from? Can you identify what state this is? If you said Missouri, you would be correct. Let's welcome Love.
Welcome, love.
Hi.
Ooh, this is an interesting treat. Is this gooey?
Butter cake.
Butter cake.
Yeah.
Wow, that looks really sweet. Have you had any before?
No, actually.
No, well, we get to try it, but it seems to be a wonderful treat from the state of Missouri. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of butter in it. So I can't say it's the most healthy dessert, but it is good every once in a while, right?
Yeah.
So tell us about Missouri.
It gets its name from the native people that lived there, the Algonquin tribe, and it translates close to something like wooden canoe people.
That is amazing. So a lot of the Native Americans were on canoe and traveled by the water.
Yeah, and also on the eastern border of Missouri, the Mississippi River is there. And it's around 2,000 miles long and also 4,000 kilometers long.
That's pretty big. It is one of the biggest, if not the biggest. I have to do a little more research in the United States.
I think it's the
really
widest.
Yeah, it's very wide. And Missouri is also known for a state of lime. So they use lime to make the roads and different things with the lime that they get from the earth. And I really like that.
Yeah, it's very interesting. And also the state fish is the channel catfish.
A catfish, yeah. Have you seen catfish close up?
Oh, no.
They look a little scary to me with their little tentacles. I don't like seeing catfish close up. If I was a little fish and a catfish would come after me, I'd be a little worried. But yeah, catfish are another interesting creature that God has created. So tell us about how you are sharing Jesus in your community. This is my favorite part, is to learn what you're doing. And I know I spilled a little bit about the beans. You like music. Yeah. And so how do you share Jesus?
I'm the main pianist for my church. And that's because our former pianist had to move, and she encouraged me to step up. And she motivated me to do that.
So she knew you were a good piano player.
Oh, yes.
And did she ask you, or did the church family ask you? Or?
Oh, she encouraged me to do it because she knew that I could do great with God's help.
Wow. So you play for a church service?
Oh, yeah. I do the song service in the morning and also the opening and closing songs, and sometimes special music too.
Special music too. And you said even sometimes for Sabbath school as well?
Oh, yeah.
Wow. That's a lot of songs on one Sabbath day. So you play maybe, how many songs do you think you play on a Sabbath?
Maybe like 6 or 8, something like that.
6 to 8 songs on Sabbath. That's a lot.
Yeah.
So when did you learn to play the piano?
Oh, I think when I was 6 years old, I started taking piano lessons from my teacher, Miss Rhonda.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, when I was 2 years old, I started taking piano lessons also, but my teachers couldn't teach me much because I was not paying attention to her. So my mom had to take me home and teach me.
So your mom was very patient with you, and you're right, because you made a good comment, because some parents want our children to practice, and sometimes they're just not ready, and your attention span was as of a 2-year-old. It was right where it should be, but you're right, you couldn't practice for like a half an hour at a time when you're only 2 years old. You just want to play a little bit, but as you get older, like 6, you can start lengthening the time of practice until you can practice maybe even a whole hour.
When I was like 6 years old, I used to play for 1 hour and a half. I was like playing, I just wanted to finish the whole book, my whole lesson book in 1 hour.
Wow, you were motivated.
I know, I like the piano so much, and I also know I like the violin, but not too much because when you play it, it kind of hurts your fingers.
That's interesting. Do you practice a lot?
Oh yeah, because there's a lot of stuff that I have to do.
Right, and when you know of a particular song that they want to play at church, you have to practice it, and you push yourself. So how do you push yourself to learn? You read notes, and how do you get better at it?
Well, I just practice mostly what I struggle with. Like if there's a certain part of the song where it's not as easy as the others, I'll focus on that more until I get it completely.
So you almost want to say until you almost get it perfect or
Yeah.
where you want it, and then you try it with the whole chunk together.
Yeah.
And that's the best way to learn, is that you practice on what's really hard, and that is a reminder in life. Sometimes you tackle the hard parts first, and then you go back to what you already know, and then the hard part doesn't seem as hard. So if there was something that you would say you wanted to develop to be more like Christ, what would that be?
To probably be more motivated.
So why do you want to be more motivated?
Well, sometimes I don't always feel motivated. I like to sometimes put things off and not do them right away. But if I do more of that, if I practice more, I can do more things for Jesus.
There's something that you do in the community that you've done and you've painted, and I think we have some examples. Can you tell us a little bit about that and what motivated you to do this?
Oh, I paint rocks with Bible verses on them. And when I'm done painting them, I place them around town and in a lot of places, and I wait for them to be picked up, and I hope someone gets led closer to Jesus after reading that Bible verse.
Did you catch that? This is something that we can all do, and that is to paint rocks. And I like how some of them, I see the 3 wise men here, and it has Matthew 2, verse 1 through 2. And she makes these different little painted rocks, and then you put some kind of lacquer on top of them. Is that what it is?
Like a little spray thing.
Right, so that it can handle the weather a little bit better. I really like that. And then you leave it around town, you said.
We wait.
You hope people will pick them up and so where do you leave them, like around town? Can you be a little more specific?
Like in places like parks or sidewalks where people often walk, and sometimes with trees, you know.
By the trees?
Yeah, because some of them are really colorful, so I think they're easy to spot.
I like this one. It has a little chick on it. And it has 1 Thessalonians 5, verse 16. This is something that all of us can do, is paint, and that just brings a smile to somebody. And I really like that, because I have a friend, and I'm just going to share a little quick story, but I have a friend that decided to paint a rock, and it said, "Jesus is my rock." And my friend had another friend that was really, really sick and probably wouldn't live long, and they knew it. And she gave this rock to this person that was really sick. And when the person passed away, the person had it in his hand. Their friend had it in his hand. Can you imagine what an impact that meant? The person may not have believed in Jesus, but yet realized how important Jesus is our rock. And you don't know what kind of message you might put on there, but you could make a huge impact. And so I really appreciate you going around town, and you talked about being motivated. And so what is a good, I hope this motivates us to paint rocks. Who would have thought of that? But Jesus is our rock. He never moves. He is our foundation and everything that we do, and I really like that. Do you have a comment?
That's clever. I've never thought about doing that.
Yeah,
because my cousins, they used to get rocks and they used to paint them, and they would just draw a picture, but they would never put Bible verses on it. But that's a clever thought of doing that.
Right. So when you don't feel motivated and you feel like procrastinating, what do you do to stay motivated?
Well, I ask help from my parents sometimes, and I also have a planner, and if I write small goals down there, I can do that little by little to accomplish big tasks.
I really like how you said that, because checking them off is gratifying. Just to see that to see your progress is very important, and that motivates us. And I like also volunteering. Have you ever tried volunteering, like you're playing the piano that also motivates you because people are depending on you. And so if they weren't depending on you, you might say, oh, I don't feel like getting out of bed, right? And so when people are depending on you, that helps you stay motivated and being positive. Sometimes we have to tell our face, yeah, I need to stay positive and continue to do it. And sometimes we say the word, fake it till you make it. Have you ever heard that phrase? Yeah, you tell your face and you say, okay, I am motivated, and you voice it and you tell everyone, I am going to be motivated today, and get your parents and say, I am going to be motivated, even though inside you don't feel like it. Because God wants us to stay motivated because he has a big task for each of us, right? Each day we can be about doing God's will in everything that we do. I'd like us to read a Bible text, and let's go to 1 Corinthians 15, verse 58, if you can read that for us, love. 1 Corinthians 15, verse 58.
Therefore, my beloved brethren, be ye steadfast, unimmovable, always abounding in the work of the Lord, for as much as ye know that your labor is not in vain in the Lord.
So we don't labor in vain. That means whatever we're working for God, it's going to be a blessing to somebody else, right? If we work for him. So I like that verse. And can you read it one more time? There was one more thing that I wanted to catch.
Therefore, my beloved brethren, be ye steadfast, unmovable.
Steadfast and unmovable. What does that mean? To be steadfast and unmovable. It means people can't shake you. And you know what your motivation needs to be. It's working for the will of
God.
God, you're right. Did you have something to say about that, about the will of God and following his will?
Yeah, like we should follow what he tells us to do, because if we don't follow what he tells us to do, like in the Tower of Babel, the people, they didn't trust in God that he was not going to send a flood.
So he couldn't bless them. You're right.
And so the Tower of Babel grew and grew until God confused their languages and cut off the top part of the Tower of Babel. Now there was nothing to be proud of.
You're right. So we need to be proud in God, and he will help us be steadfast and motivated. I really like that. Let's go to our question. I think it's time for our question.
So this question can be for all of us.
Ooh.
So Brighton in Illinois wants to know, what is your favorite song?
Ooh, do you have a favorite song?
There's a lot of songs. It's impossible to pick one, but I'd say The Love of God.
The love of God. Is there a verse that you like, part of it? Just the whole thing?
Yeah.
How about you, Angelica?
Well, I just like all of them. I can't really find one that I like, but there are Christmas songs that I also like.
You like Christmas song? I like In His Time. For some reason, when I was about your age, maybe a little bit older, I liked In His Time because he makes all things beautiful in his time. Sometimes we try to hurry up and grow up, and we think we want to do this and accomplish that, but everything can be made perfect in God's timing. And even Jesus, when he was little, he had to grow, right? And he had to learn to be motivated and to deal with people that weren't always nice. But we can follow the example of Jesus, can't we? And stay motivated. So remember that God makes all things beautiful in his perfect time, and we can be made perfect in doing his will. So I hope that you too will live for Jesus. I appreciate you joining us on Kids Express Love. Thank you so much. It was a delight to have you. And we thank you for joining us, and we hope that you too are motivated to do God's will. Thanks for joining us on Kids